I still remember the cold creak of the attic floor that night. I was looking for an old photo album, something to show my daughter for her school project. But instead, I found a locked wooden box tucked behind Grandma's rocking chair, the one no one ever sat in. It was dusty, sealed with a rusted clasp. But when I pried it open, inside were letters. Dozens of them. All from a woman I had never heard of, addressed to my father. The first one started with, "Dear Tom, I miss you. The kids keep asking why you don't visit anymore." My heart dropped. I stood there, stunned. I thought I knew everything about my family. I thought we were boring, traditional, loyal to a fault. But that night, I realized my family had built our history on a lie. And I was the only one left to uncover the truth. Have you ever found out something about your family that shattered your entire identity? Comment truth if you've ever been lied to by the people who raised you. Growing up in Charleston, South Carolina, I thought I had the most ordinary, loving American family. My dad, Tom Bennett, was a retired Navy officer, the kind who'd make perfect pancakes on Sunday mornings and still iron his shirts with military precision. My mom, Ellen, was the PDA queen, always smiling, always composed, even when the dog chewed up her favorite heels. I'm the oldest of three, me, then my brother Dylan and baby Katie, who everyone swore was the favorite, though Mom denied it every time. We had dinner together every night at 6 p.m. sharp. No phones, no TV, just stories, laughter, and a big bowl of mashed potatoes passed around like clockwork. I worshiped my dad growing up. He used to tuck me in with this line, "Remember, kiddo, truth, honor, and family, in that order." And I believed him. He even built me a tree house when I was 9, worked on it for weeks, just the two of us. He let me pick out the paint, this hideous neon green. Mom hated it, but he said, "If my girl wants lime green, she gets lime green." It's memories like those that made what I discovered so impossible to believe. I spent my whole life thinking our family was close because of love. Turns out it might have just been secrecy and control. I remember one time when I was 16, I asked Dad about an old photograph I found of a woman holding a baby. It had his name scribbled on the back. He got quiet, took it from my hand and said, "Some stories aren't worth retelling, kiddo." Back then, I shrugged it off. But now, I know that was the first crack in a wall I wasn't supposed to look behind. It wasn't just about what he was hiding. It was about what the rest of us were too afraid to question. I didn't grow up thinking my family had secrets. But once I started remembering things, the signs were everywhere. My dad always had this one week every spring where he'd go on what he called a solo road trip. No phone calls. No explanations. Just gone. Mom would say, "Your father needs space. It's his thing." I used to imagine him driving through the Blue Ridge Mountains, listening to jazz, finding peace. But now, I wonder if he was visiting them. The other family. There were also these weird, abrupt changes in the house. Like how one summer, Mom suddenly insisted we repaint and remodel the guest room, even though no one ever stayed there. I was helping her box things up, and I found a baby blanket, soft yellow, with the name Jade stitched in pink. I wasn't sure who Jade was. When I asked Mom about it, she snapped, "Must have been a gift mix-up. Just throw it out." She never raised her voice. That day, she did. And then there was the time I overheard my uncle, Dad's younger brother, Uncle Mike, arguing with him in the garage after a family barbecue. I was in the laundry room, folding napkins when I heard, "Mike, you can't keep pretending none of it happened, Tom. It's not just about you anymore." "Dad, it's been handled. We don't bring that up. Ever." Handled? I never told anyone I heard that. Not until years later. Back then, I told myself it was probably about money. Or maybe something from Dad's Navy days. He was always tight-lipped about his past. He said it made him a better father, not to bring old pain into our home. But what if we were the secret? What if I was just one side of a carefully curated life? The turning point came during my college years at Duke University. I was home for Christmas break and decided to make a digital family photo album as a gift. I asked Mom for old albums, documents, anything she could find. She brought down 2 large boxes from the attic, but before handing them to me, she stopped and said, "Only use what's in these 2, okay? Some things in the older albums, they just don't matter anymore." Don't matter anymore? It felt off. But I nodded. That night, I couldn't sleep. I crept into the hallway, pulled out the top album from the 3rd box she had set aside, the one she didn't hand me, and opened it. The first few pages were filled with blacked-out photos. Literally black ink scribbled across faces. Pages torn out. A woman holding a child. Same baby blanket. Yellow and pink. And a note in Mom's handwriting tucked between the pages. "Destroy this. Tom should have done it years ago." That note shook me. Destroy this. Tom should have done it years ago. I stared at those words until they blurred. I should have gone back to bed. Pretended I never saw it. But instead, I took the entire album, snuck it into my room, and locked the door behind me. I spent hours that night piecing together torn photos, looking for dates, handwriting, anything that could make sense. I found a Christmas photo, same tree, same ornaments we had downstairs, but I wasn't in it. Instead, my father stood next to a tall, dark-haired woman, holding a toddler. The same yellow blanket. The same baby from the earlier photo. On the back, written in faded ink. Christmas 1997. Tom, Amanda, and Jade. Amanda. Jade. That was the woman who wrote the letters. And Jade. Jade was my half-sister. My chest tightened. I felt sick. My father had another family, and from the looks of it, they overlapped with us. The next morning, I confronted my mom. I waited until the others went out for groceries and followed her into the laundry room. She was folding towels like nothing was wrong. Me. "Who's Amanda?" She froze. Didn't look at me. Me. "And Jade, Mom. Where did you see that name?" Me. "In the photo album you told me not to open. The one with half our family ripped out." She didn't answer. Her shoulders slumped. "Mom, it wasn't my secret to tell." I couldn't believe it. Me. "He cheated on you?" Mom. "Not just once. It wasn't a fling. Amanda was someone he loved at the same time he claimed to love me." She finally turned to face me, eyes tired, jaw tight. Not angry, just resigned. "Mom, he got her pregnant 6 months before Katie was born. I found out just after I gave birth. He promised he'd end it, but he didn't. He visited them once a year, paid for everything, said it was the only way he could live with himself." I remember sinking to the floor, my back against the washing machine. Me. "So, they know about us?" Mom. "Jade does now. Amanda passed away 3 years ago. Cancer. Tom never told you because he couldn't live with your disappointment." Disappointment? He taught me about truth, honor, family, and lived a lie. I left the house that night, took my car, and drove with no GPS, just rage and heartbreak. I ended up 3 towns over, in a motel off the interstate. I cried until my eyes swelled shut. The next morning, I called Dylan. Me. "Did you know?" Dylan. "No." But I always felt like something was off. There were gaps. Vacations he took alone. Weird tension between Mom and Dad. I never asked. I felt betrayed, not just by Dad, but by everyone's silence. That weekend, I found Amanda's obituary online. It listed a surviving daughter, Jade Sullivan, 23, of Raleigh, North Carolina. I sat there, staring at her name. My sister. I had a sister. The obituary mentioned a scholarship fund in Amanda's name, hosted by a small local nonprofit. I emailed the contact. 2 days later, I received a reply. "Hi, this is Jade. I got your message. I think we should talk." I met Jade 2 weeks later at a small coffee shop in downtown Raleigh. She looked exactly like him. The same steel blue eyes. Same dimples when she nervously smiled. We sat across from each other, 2 strangers connected by blood and betrayal. Jade. I always wondered if he had another family. I used to ask Mom why he disappeared around Christmas. She'd say he had military obligations. Me. We just thought he needed space. Time to clear his head. I can't believe we were both being managed like that. We talked for over 3 hours. She showed me photos, birthdays, school plays, prom, all the moments he missed with us because he was living another life with her. And I showed her pictures too, family trips, graduations, Katie's wedding. We cried. We laughed awkwardly. And in the end, we hugged. It felt like something broken had been pieced back together, not perfectly, but just enough to make sense of it all. When I returned to Charleston, I knew what I had to do. Dad was sitting on the porch when I pulled into the driveway. He stood up like he always did, arms wide, pretending everything was still normal. Me, we need to talk. His smile faded. Dad, you went to see her, didn't you? Me, how could you lie to all of us for so long? He didn't deny it, didn't try to spin some noble reason. He just looked down and said quietly, Dad, I loved her. I loved your mother, too. It wasn't supposed to be this way. Me, it was this way, Dad. You made it this way. And you let us carry your lies so you didn't have to face your own shame. He tried to defend himself, called it a complicated time, said he did what he thought was best. I reached into my bag and pulled out a framed photo, one I had printed after meeting Jade. It was the two of us standing in front of the coffee shop, smiling. Me, this is my sister. I know the truth now, and you don't get to control the narrative anymore. I left the photo on the table in front of him and walked away. No yelling, no slamming doors, just the truth finally spoken out loud. And silence, the kind that follows when a lifetime of pretending finally ends. After that day, everything changed. Dad didn't call for weeks. No texts. No birthday messages. Not even for Katie's baby shower, which used to be the kind of thing he'd never miss. Mom, she went quiet too. I think she felt like I'd betrayed the family just by unearthing the truth. As if silence was sacred and I broke the code. I tried to talk to Dylan about it again. He was supportive but hesitant. Dylan, you did the right thing. But you know how they are. They hate facing anything uncomfortable. Me. Uncomfortable? It's our reality, Dylan. At Katie's shower, I felt the shift. Everyone was polite, fake smiles, soft greetings, but there was a space between us now. A quiet tension, like I was holding something radioactive. Later that evening, my aunt, Mom's sister, Lynn, pulled me aside. She said, Lynn, I knew about Amanda. Your mom told me after Jade was born. She nearly left him back then, but she stayed. For you kids. Me. So, you all just kept the secret? Lynn, it wasn't our place. Not their place. I heard that line more than I care to remember, from cousins, family, friends, even our old neighbor, Mrs. Turner. Everyone knew pieces. No one told the whole story. And somehow, I was the problem for putting it together. For a few months, I stopped visiting. I needed distance. I needed space to breathe and figure out who I was outside the illusion I grew up in. At night, I kept dreaming of childhood moments. Dad reading bedtime stories, Mom brushing my hair, Dylan chasing me through sprinklers in the yard. But now, every memory had a shadow behind it. Every happy moment came with an asterisk. This was built on a lie. I mourned more than just the truth. I mourned the version of my family I believed in, the people I thought they were. And in that grief, I realized something. Sometimes the deepest betrayal isn't the secret itself. It's the silence that everyone around it agreed to live with. It took me a long time to accept that healing doesn't come from getting apologies. It comes from setting yourself free, even if no one claps for you when you do. I started therapy with a counselor named Rachel, someone who specialized in family betrayal and trauma. For the first few sessions, I couldn't stop crying. I kept saying, I feel like a fool for not seeing it sooner. But Rachel said something I'll never forget. Children are wired to believe what keeps them safe. You didn't ignore the signs. You trusted your home. That changed everything. I started building a new kind of peace, one based on reality, not fantasy. I spent more time with Jade. We'd FaceTime on Sundays, swap recipes, share stories about our completely different versions of the same man. One day, she mailed me something, a small, silver bracelet. It had two names engraved on it, Lauren and Jade. No last name, no title, just us, sisters at last. I started writing too. Not a book. Not yet. Just journaling. Letters to my younger self. Pages of memories, truths, what-ifs. Eventually, I submitted one of those pieces to a local magazine under the title, Daughter of Silence. It got published. I joined a writing group and, before I knew it, I wasn't grieving anymore. I was creating. I also reconnected with Aunt Lynn. She apologized, not just for keeping the secret, but for not being a safe place for me after it came out. And slowly, painfully, I allowed space for Dylan again. He never judged me. He just didn't know how to stand in the middle of all that family tension. But now, we talk every week. He even came with me to meet Jade in person. That meeting? It felt like reclaiming something stolen from both of us. Now, I live a little differently. I don't celebrate holidays with the whole family anymore. I spend them with people who see me, hear me,
support me,
my chosen family. And every year on the anniversary of meeting Jade, we send each other a voice note that starts the same way. Truth, honor, and family in that order.
Just like Dad used to say.
Only this time, we mean it. If you've ever uncovered a family secret that changed everything, if you've ever been the one who spoke up while everyone else stayed silent, I see you. It takes strength to choose truth over comfort, to break a cycle instead of repeating it. And if your voice ever trembled while telling your story, that doesn't make it weak. It makes it real. Share your story in the comments. I'm listening. And so are thousands of others who've walked through silence and come out stronger. Because family isn't who protects the lie. It's who stands with you when you finally tell the truth. Like, comment, and subscribe if you believe your story deserves to be heard.